You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. Caught. The man suspected of sending more than a dozen packages containing improvised explosive devices to prominent Democrats and individuals critical of President Trump. 56-year-old Cesar Sayak arrested at an auto shop in Plantation. Maggie Rulli is at the site where one of those packages was found just this morning in New York City.
Authorities confirmed they've tracked down at least one suspect in connection with those attempted bombings, but they warned that this threat is not over yet. And they cautioned post offices across the country, like this one here in New York City, that received one of those packages just this morning, to remain on high alert. Authorities confirmed this man, Cesar Sayak, is now in custody in connection with at least a dozen possibly explosive devices sent through the mail.
We will not tolerate such lawlessness, especially not political violence.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Director of the FBI Christopher Wray, part of a high-profile press conference praising the nationwide manhunt to find this attempted bomber.
A threat of this scope and of this magnitude requires all of us working shoulder to shoulder. And today's arrest is a testament to the strength of our partnerships and what we can do when we all work together.
The 56-year-old has a lengthy criminal history with at least 8 arrests in Florida alone. He's now suspected of targeting people who are critical of President Trump. The president, who earlier tweeted that this, quote, bomb stuff was hurting Republicans before midterms, now calling it despicable.
We must never allow political violence to take root in America.
Today, more packages were discovered even after Sayak was taken into custody. Authorities warn the threat remains.
Today's arrest doesn't mean we're all out of the woods. There may be other packages in transit now.
Court documents reveal investigators found Sayak through fingerprints on the packages and items inside. They also say that some of the packages had photos of the intended targets with red circle slashes on their faces. The Department of Justice says they believe they found a social media account linked to that suspect. They say it's full with right-wing content and aggressive attacks on liberals, including mentioning some of the names of people who received those packages with the words, "See you soon." In New York City, Maggie Rulli, ABC News. Back to you.
Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. We're watching a front move through right now. This cold front is going to cool us down for the weekend. Finally, some fall weather is going to be here in place, especially on Sunday. You'll notice a big difference there. Saturday will be a transitional day from the warm and muggy conditions that we've been seeing to the cooler weather, especially by the afternoon on Saturday. Rip current advisory in effect due to those strong winds coming out of the west-northwest, and those will continue overnight. Small craft should exercise caution. And as we take a look at the weekend, we'll see clearing conditions. We had a lot of clouds around today. Not much rain with this front. Had a few brief showers. We still have the potential for a few more this evening, but not a lot of rain expected. And then there's another cold front due to arrive next Friday and Saturday. So we'll see a series of these fronts start to move through, and that's good news in terms of tropical development, because once we get this Gulf water temperature down below 80 degrees, and I think it will be doing so, especially after the next front next week, then storms can't get stronger when they get in the Gulf. But once it's below that 80-degree threshold, it's a lot better for us. We are watching a system developing out in the Atlantic. It's soon to be Oscar, we do believe. A real good chance of that happening. But it doesn't appear it's going to have a chance to get to the United States because of these cold fronts that are moving on through. Right now, the first one is moving right through us right now. Heavy weather over the northeast as a result of a nor'easter there. That's going to be a problem and a concern. You can see that heavy shower activity from North Carolina through Virginia up and through Maryland now, eventually ending up into the northeast. And we have some high clouds out here. There's another secondary front back here, which will reinforce the cooler air on Saturday. And that's why I say Sunday appears to be the better of the 2 days. We'll have some clouds around tomorrow. There's even a slight chance for a few passing showers tomorrow afternoon, but not a lot of rainfall expected. As far as the Titan radar picture goes, you can see all the heavy rain and stronger cells located near the area of low pressure. For us, that frontal boundary is kind of hanging around, pushing to the southeast right now. There's still some showers well in the back as well. And again, the futurecast showing a little bit of cloudiness around on into Saturday, but not too bad of a day. Well, much more on the tropics as well as our weekend weather coming up in a few minutes. Alan?
Thank you. I don't quote Shakespeare often, but I do now with a little bit of a twist. The fault, dear Brutus, is not just in our stars, but in ourselves. It's absolutely fair to question whether President Trump's overheated rhetoric, like calling Hillary Clinton evil, calling the media the enemy of the people, just two examples, is contributing to the environment where crazy, weak-minded individuals put words to action. And yes, Maxine Waters encouraging supporters to harass cabinet members, Eric Holder telling a crowd to kick them when they're down, should be condemned as well. But Donald Trump is the president of the United States with a bully pulpit like no other. So when you look at viewer comments on Facebook or Twitter, is it any surprise that too often they are crude and rude? Not exactly shining city on the hill kind of stuff. Joining us for more are Jack Brill, Vice Chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and Kevin Griffith, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. But first, tonight's poll question with ABC7 digital producer Chloe Comboy. Chloe.
Alan, today I posted your poll question asking viewers, should Republicans and Democrats elected to office show greater restraint in the rhetoric they use to describe political opponents and the news media? In just a few hours, we've had over 500 votes and 30 comments on our Facebook page. In just a few minutes, I'll share some of those comments with you and reveal what the final poll numbers are. Alan, back to you.
Chloe, thanks a lot. Our Facebook and our roundtable discussion in a moment. Stay with us.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
When the call comes in, it's time to go to work. We'll respond first, but FBL is right there with us.
You really never know what you're going to pull up on. You don't know what type of call you're going to have. You don't know, once you get to that call, what you're going to encounter.
Whether it's a big storm, it could be a house fire, you must be ready at all times.
We're always happy to see FPL. It's pretty much a team effort. Everybody has a job to do.
We know we can count on them. They'll be there, and so will we.
Enjoy fine wine and great foods, all while supporting a great cause. It's the 17th annual Suncoast Food and Wine Fest, happening Saturday, November 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch. Taste hundreds of wines from around the world and sample great food from the area's finest restaurants. All proceeds go to local charities and Rotary projects. For tickets and information, visit suncoastfoodandwinefest.com.
Support the Hurricane Michael Relief and Disaster Fund by donating to the United Way of Northwest Florida today. Help communities rise and rebuild after the devastating mess left behind. Every donation makes a difference and is appreciated. Together, we are all Panhandle Strong.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Welcome back, and joining us for more are Jack Brill, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and Kevin Griffith, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. So, gentlemen, I set this up by asking whether the rhetoric from, whether it's the president or from Democrats, overheated at times, can have an impact on weak-minded people who take action like we saw this week. The president today seemed to set the right tone. Let's take a look.
I heard he was a person that preferred me over others, but I did not see that. There's no blame. There's no anything. If you look at what happened to Steve Scalise, that was from a supporter of a different party. You look at what happened on numerous of these incidents, they were supporters of others.
That he says that he bears no responsibility in terms of the rhetoric that's going on there. And I'm looking at our Facebook page, and I look at our Facebook page every single day, and you have people like Lawrence who say the bombings this week, Democratic setup. And then another guy, Timothy, says, who even cares about this story when there are thousands of people trying to storm our borders, which is debatable. Kevin?
Well, there's no moral equivalent between protesters and bombs. And I hear the president's rhetoric just now, but earlier today on Twitter, he called this bomb stuff and talked about how the Republicans were motivated until this bomb stuff happened. He's the president. He sets the tone. Whether he's Democrat or Republican, he sets the tone. And his tone right now is uncivil. It's been uncivil since he's been in the election and won the election. And it's for him to change the rhetoric so that his followers, especially on the fringe, both parties have people on the fringe, you're right, but the people at the top have to be responsible and have to be statesmanlike. And that's what we expect from any president, regardless of party, and it's not what we're getting.
Jack?
We're not getting it from anyone, both parties.
We get it from some people.
Yeah, but there can be cases on all sides that have taken this issue, you know.
But there's one president of the United States.
And that is the president that we all elected. Do I, agree with what Rod Thompson said the other night? You know, do I wish he wouldn't, use Twitter as much, or, and tweet as much? Excuse me. That would be helpful. But, I just look at, having people chased out of the restaurants. Looking at, going from the Steve Scalise shooting, looking at this idiot down in Miami. I mean, how does anybody not see the side of his van and report him?
No one has a bully pulpit like the President of the United States. He sets the agenda. And, you solve problems one at a time. This is a problem that the President can speak to, starting with himself, in terms of how he talks about his political opponents. They're opponents. They're not enemies. They're not enemies of the American people.
I'm not disagreeing they're not enemies of the American people, but that's one of the values of having the freedom of speech is you get everyone having their own opinion.
Right, but
with their own opinion, you may not agree and some of it may not be good.
Freedom of speech does not include yelling fire in a movie theater. So says the Supreme Court.
I don't think the president actually has, believe it or not, I hate to say this, but I don't think he has the maturity or the capability to control himself. And, you might roll your eyes, but I think deep down, Jack, you know that. He just doesn't have the ability, the self-discipline to do that because he won. And in his view, he sees the world winners and losers. He doesn't see one group of Americans. And it's all about winning. And that's not good for our country. It might be good for his political party, but it's not good for our country.
All right, we have to take a quick pause. Our conversation on the pipe bomb threats continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
High surf up along the area beaches, prompting the National Weather Service to issue not small craft advisories, but small craft exercise caution. And we have some high rip current advisories as well as a result of that frontal bound. You can see those high waves. We're getting reports too. The red tide is back. The 5 o'clock update from the FWC indicating there's a greater than 25% increase on the coastal waters of Sarasota County, and a 5% up to 25% greater increase along the beaches of Manatee County as well. So we've had some fish kills on into Sarasota and Manatee counties as well. The front now is through our area. We're going to continue to see this west to northwest wind, and that red tide has been offshore in some places, and that may too be blowing back onshore as a result of that west to northwest wind that we're going to see through tonight and tomorrow. One lone shower I can find right now on the radar picture. That is just around Venice near Jacaranda, pushing off to the east toward Northport. You may get a little light rainfall there. You can see it near just north of, again, actually east of South Venice, pushing toward Northport right now. Not much else out there, and looks like it'll stay pretty quiet. Overnight, low temperatures will be down into the low 70s, so still above average for our lows tonight, but the big story will be on Sunday morning when temperatures will be down into the upper 50s to low 60s here along the Sun Coast. You can see 69 now. The temperature forecast for Tallahassee will be into the upper 70s for highs tomorrow, and then we'll cool down into the low 60s right here along the coast. Some upper 50s inland like Orlando, 58 degrees, and then a high on Sunday should be really nice, 78. That's a few degrees below what our normal high is, which is around 84 degrees. Those winds I mentioned will stay strong out of the west and northwest, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour, and then become more northerly in time as we get a secondary push of some cooler air late Saturday night, and you'll start to see those winds turn out of the north, and that will allow those temperatures to get much cooler for us to start things off on Sunday morning. The hourly planner looks to be pretty nice tomorrow. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds. More sunshine expected on Sunday, but it's not going to be a totally cloudy day tomorrow. We will see the clouds around occasionally with some breaks down again. The secondary front expected to move through with limited moisture in place. The rain chances are going to stay very small tomorrow at 20% for most areas, and if the rain does fall, it will be rather light. We are looking at current conditions. We have partly cloudy skies, 79, west wind at 15, the pressure 2981. That's rising ever so slightly now. The high today was warm, 86. We can say goodbye to the mid-80s for a while. 92, the record set back in 1971. Well, big storm for the northeast this weekend with high winds and heavy rainfall from the mid-Atlantic coast states all the way up into the northern New England states. For boaters tomorrow, northwest winds at 15 knots. We'll have a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. 7-day forecast, then a beautiful weekend ahead. Better on Sunday than Saturday. And then Halloween looks really quite nice, 83 for a high temperature there. We'll start to get back into the mid-80s on Thursday, and then another front due to arrive on Friday of next week. We'll be right back after this.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hut hut. It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Civics on sale is now. During our model year-end sale, drive new Civics for just $169 a month. You made Civic the best-selling compact car in America. And now get Civic, a KBB.com's best buy of the year for less than the competition. New Civics just $169 a month. Your last chance for Civics, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Welcome back. This week we are talking about the arrest of the bombing suspect who sent packages to former Presidents Obama and Clinton and Robert De Niro and CNN. And joining us for more are Jack Brill, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, Kevin Griffith of the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. But first, tonight's poll question with ABC7 digital producer Chloe Convoy. Chloe.
Tons of comments on our Facebook poll. We asked our viewers, should Republicans and Democrats elected to office show greater restraint in the rhetoric they use to describe political opponents and the news media? Julie says, something called the First Amendment comes to mind. Michael responded to Julie and says, it has its limits. Inciting hatred is one of its limits. Coming up, I will show you the final poll results, and I saved some of the best comments for last. Alan?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that, Chloe. Thank you very much. So, gentlemen, I mean, that's what we're talking about here. And let's put aside Trump and Maxine Waters and Eric Holder and talk about us, the Suncoast residents, one of whom writes on Facebook, Robert Lynn, funny how the media, in quotes, portrays the fake bomb mailing as sent to Trump targets and try to spin it because Trump's rhetoric, yet they fail to mention that each and every one of these people have called Trump and his supporters racist, Nazis, and worse than Hitler. They could have easily said these fake bombs were sent to these people who have spewed hateful and divisive rhetoric. I wonder why they spin it the way that they do. Number one, I don't ever recall Barack Obama calling the president Hitler or Nazis or so forth. So, but the problem is we see these comments way too often right here, Suncoast residents talking about our politics, Jack, and nothing good could come of this.
And you see it on all sides. Here's we go back to the first freedom of speech. We all want it. We don't want it curtailed when it comes to us. Then we can say stupid things, So let me reiterate that obviously what happened this week should never happen to anybody. I hope they lock that person up forever, and it's probably too short of a time at that point. But it's a balance. And is the rhetoric gotten stronger since social media was introduced? Yes, because it's instantaneous. And actually, it's taken away the opportunity where before, if you were going to send something, you would reread it. If you wrote it, reread it and think about it, maybe cross it out. Or now, you plug in a 20-word tweet and it's gone.
Alan, I think it's important to remember that our local politicians, they are also our leaders. And I will give both parties, for the most part, some kudos. I think locally our politicians do a pretty good job. I know the city commissioners do a very good job. I know Representative Good has always done a very good job with this. And actually there's been some bipartisan town halls between Joe Gruters and Margaret Good. And so there is some leadership at the top that shows civility, and that's important.
Okay, we have to take another break. We are just getting warmed up. Our conversation on the pipe bomb threats will continue after a break. Stay with us.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small, so Tom could have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me.
And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Each day, researchers make discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Their progress is made possible with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more. Together, we can stand up for all of us.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app. You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back to the Week in Politics, and joining us for more are Jack Brill, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and Kevin Griffith, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. But first, tonight's poll question with ABC7 digital producer Chloe Conboy. Chloe.
Alan, here's some of the new comments added to our Facebook poll question. One of the comments was from Jill. Jill says, I think they should only be allowed to comment on their plans and achievements and nothing else. No negative campaign ads, ban all bashing of opponents. Leslie says, I would rather hear why I should vote for a candidate rather than why I shouldn't vote for the opponent. And the final results are in, and it looks like the yeses win by a landslide. 89% of you say Republicans and Democrats elected to office should show greater restraint in the rhetoric they use to describe political opponents and the news media. And 11% of you said no, they shouldn't. Be sure to look out for the next Facebook poll coming up next Friday on ABC7 News at 7. Alan, back to you.
I want to talk to that 11%. I want to talk about state and local races, but I do understand the difficulty that candidates are in sometimes. And, we all know that I ran for office a couple of years ago, and half the people gave me the advice, I don't want to hear about your opponent. I want to hear about what you're going to do. I don't want to hear anything negative. Then the other half of the people said, I want you to take it to him. I want you to, bang on why he should not, be in office and so forth. And frankly, that is the dilemma that many political candidates have, Kevin.
Sometimes people vote for you and sometimes they vote against your opponent. And that's part of politics, and that's why you hear the rhetoric. I mean, if you think about Trump, he basically ran on an anti-Hillary platform of lock her up. And so I think you make a good point, and that's the issue.
But I got to say, we all agree it'd be great to have a fact-based, issue-based campaign. Those campaigns don't win. Negative campaigning wins elections, and it's been proven. And it's probably 88% to the 11 that the 88%, if you were to use that same number, that did a negative, those are the ones that won. And it's, the positive campaigns don't win races.
All right, let's talk about some local issues. The most highly watched race on the Suncoast, the race for Congress in the 16th Congressional District. We had the big debate this week here at the Trapezoid between Congressman Vern Buchanan and Democrat David Shapiro. there's been a lot of things happening in that race over the last couple of weeks. Kevin, I'm going to start with you. It seems like Mr. Shapiro is in the more difficult spot, down in the public polls. How would you describe his debate performance and where you go from here?
What's important is David is our leader in our community because he's our congressional candidate, and his field team is tremendous. When we have canvasses, his field team is leading, and some of the state house races are showing up, and we are getting 50, 75, 100 people knocking on our doors. So the field team is awesome. Raising money to run against a guy like Vern Buchanan, who just put $250,000 of his own money and is obviously worth millions and millions of dollars, is a hard thing to do. David has raised $2 million, but there's more money to be raised because you have to reach all these voters. It's just you got to cut through all the different commercials. So there's a lot of work to be done. I think with relation to the debate this week, David really took the high road, was very substantive. I thought it was poignant when I read in the article in the Herald Tribune the next day that Congressman Buchanan didn't like being held to account and talk about a lack of civility, called it a game. You want to play the game, let's play the game. I mean, that kind of rhetoric doesn't play well when you're the congressman. You're to be held to the standard of being a statesman, and I didn't think it was very statesmanlike. And by the way, he's being held account for passing a tax plan that benefited him personally.
Jack.
It benefited everybody, number one.
It's not
number
benefiting
two,
everybody.
Number two, when you add what the DCCC has put into that race, they've each got $4 million. Number three, I was actually totally surprised how ill-prepared David Shapiro was to show up for a debate to talk about issues. For a trial lawyer who speaks to juries to try and convince them all in his career, he did not show up. If that's the best he can do, he does not deserve to be our congressman. Number three or number four, Larry Sabato, just in his crystal ball, put Vern's race back to likely to win. And if you look at the early voting and the absentee ballots in District 17, CD District 17, Republicans are up in early voting by 10,000, and they're up in vote by mail by 6,500. So the voters are showing, and not just in Sarasota, but Manatee and Hillsborough, that they're coming out to vote for Vern.
Is there a disconnect by what many Democrats perceive was that the Democratic base is energized this year, and what you're seeing in terms of early vote numbers, and whether it's in the 16th congressional district or elsewhere?
We're going to see on November 6th, but no. I mean, our people are coming to the polls. If you look at those numbers, by percentage of party, the Democrats are outperforming the Republicans by 4% in Sarasota. There's almost 30% of Democrats have already voted, where it's more like 26. Of course, there's more registered Republicans, so that's why you get that larger margin. The Democrats are coming to vote.
Oh, okay, so riddle me this when we talk about the governor's race, because Andrew Gillum continues to lead the polls anywhere from a couple of points to a couple of more points than that. But statewide, Jack, similar numbers, it looks like more Republicans are voting early. Is there a disconnect there?
No, I think that there's been a number of things that have happened over the last several weeks, and as the campaign's been going on, I'm going to go back to Brett Kavanaugh's. That whole fiasco certainly generated an interest from the base. I think you also are starting to see on the governor's race, you know, everyone's talking about Gillum's FBI investigation. Nobody's talking about the fact that the Federal Elections Commission is investigating him. And when you look at what happened this week, where obviously on one of the reimbursements of the trips, his name was crossed off, said hold for later.
So why is he still leading in the polls?
Well, depending on which poll. You know, we're seeing.
I have not seen a poll that shows that Ron DeSantis is leading this race.
I've seen a couple where everything's within the margin of error, but you've got to look at the momentum of anything with the last week. And if you look at the number of voters coming out that are Republicans, especially in South County, they are absolutely tearing it up. In the voters are coming out to support Republicans in South County.
Alan, the Republicans are frustrated because their October surprise against Andrew Gillum, which they thought was going to work, hasn't worked. Andrew Gillum is energizing people who don't typically vote in these off-year elections. He's going to be in town tomorrow here in Sarasota, and you are going to see a huge turnout. And those people aren't just going to turn out to vote, but they're going to turn out to contact other voters to vote. He's energized the base, and it's going to be an exciting November 6th, right. But our people are coming to vote.
So quick final thoughts here. Where are we at? Just a couple of days, more than a week away from this election. I know Jack, that you feel confident about most of your races, maybe with the exception of House 72, Margaret Good against Ray Pilon.
Well, and I look at even if these numbers continue, and each day they keep getting larger. You know, we're up 6,000 in early voting. We're up 1,000 in absentee ballot returns, which is amazing. That gives us real hope that Ray will have an opportunity to be elected. But I think you're going to see a very solid Republican victory for all levels of races.
And Kevin, you get the last word.
I think down the ballot, the Democrats are going to outperform, especially at the county commission level as well as the House seats. I could see Tony Mowry, Tracy Pratt, Liv Coleman, and Margaret Good all doing very well on election
But
day.
they can do better than the others have passed. But if they don't win, it doesn't matter.
You're right. Politics is binary, so they're going to win.
They're not.
All right. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We want to thank Jack Brill, Vice Chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and Kevin Griffith, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party, for joining us tonight. When we return, gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum's selection for Lieutenant Governor. Chris King will be here for an exclusive ABC7 at 7 interview. Stay with us.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Where to go and what to do in Muscle Shoals in Florence, Alabama. Personalized just for you. Find your sweet spots at alabama.travel/sweetspot.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch ABC7 wherever you are, on our live stream, on mysuncoast.com, on the ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, dining with recipes, and My Suncoast Restaurant Guide. Visit mysuncoast.com. Click on the Apps tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for Apple and Android.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
So it's the home stretch in the race for governor, and you can't say it's been boring. Most polls show Democrat Andrew Gillum leading Republican Ron DeSantis by a couple of points. This week, their final debate was a real brawl, and there are also renewed questions about that FBI investigation after news the FBI paid for a ticket for Gillum to see Hamilton on Broadway. The mayor joining us for more last week, but now the lieutenant governor nominee, Chris King. And Chris, welcome back to the Trapezoid.
It's great to be back. Thank you.
Let me again ask you about the FBI investigation and the news about the Hamilton ticket. Mayor Gillum addressed it during the debate there. But if you look at what a lot of the Republicans are saying and a lot of the voters around here, they are saying this is in and of itself a reason why Andrew Gillum should not be governor.
Well, you know, the question is not about Hamilton tickets. The question is, does Andrew Gillum have the integrity to be the next governor of Florida? And, you know, I was asked this question when I was running in the primary against Andrew Gillum, when I was trying to beat him. And then they said, are there concerns that the Florida voters need to be aware of? And I say then what I say now, running with him, that this is a good and noble public servant. I've gotten to know him for 20 months. I believe in him, and he has the integrity and the character to lead the state of Florida.
There was also news today that that undercover FBI agent may also have helped pay for a fundraiser. If you could address that.
Well, Mayor Gillum has said that he had nothing to do and paid his own way, and that this undercover FBI agent, in no way did he have any relationship or rapport with him. But look, there's a reason that Ron DeSantis is doing this. There is a reason why he keeps trying to keep this story alive, because about 11 days before an election, he didn't have, and he doesn't have, a big plan for public education, for the environment, for health care here in the state of Florida. He doesn't have a vision, and so he's trying to distract and scare the voters into not voting for the guy who does have a vision, Andrew Gillum.
Most of the public polling shows that the mayor is leading by a couple of points, but no one has quite pulled away yet. Why is that?
Well, you know, every poll I've looked at over the last, I think, 30 days has had us in the lead, and the energy that we see here in Sarasota and around the state is incredible. But Mayor Gillum and I are acting like we're running 5 points behind. We are everywhere. We are all over the state of Florida. We're going to places they haven't seen a Democrat running for statewide office in decades. And we think that is what's going to contribute to a historic victory for Mayor Gillum and myself. And for hopefully lifting up a whole new generation of leaders who are ready to serve and want to take Florida in a better direction.
Most of the time when I read our viewer comments about the governor's race, you get a lot of folks saying, and the pointing to the mayor's plan to increase corporate taxes to help pay for teacher pay raises, and they say, look, we moved down here from the Northeast, from New Jersey, where we were taxed to death. We came down here to Florida because it's a low tax state. We don't want to turn Florida into a New Jersey or California.
Alan, we agree with those people. We know that the low tax environment in Florida is a competitive advantage of this state. Ron DeSantis has erroneously said that we wanted to bring a state income tax to Florida. That is untrue. We have never said that, nor would we ever do that when we get into office. What we have said is that the wealthiest corporations, 3% of the biggest companies in Florida, need to pay a little bit more in their corporate taxes in order for us to invest in public education. And most Floridians understand that right now in Florida, our teachers are paid $12,000 less than the national average. We've underfunded our public school system, and if we want to build the workforce of the future, the economy of the future, we got to support our public schools.
But even if you guys do win, the odds are that you probably will not control the legislature. So how do you get something like that through the legislature and into law when the Republicans may well continue to control the Senate and the House?
Well, we think, on the contrary, that there's growing consensus that public education in the state of Florida has been underfunded for decades, and that there are Republicans and Democrats that want to invest more in caring for our students and our teachers. We think there's growing consensus about health care in the state of Florida, that 2.5 million people don't have it, and that there is going to be a growing debate on expanding Medicaid and protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And we certainly feel, particularly here in Sarasota, there's growing consensus that we've got to do something different when it comes to Florida's environment. That red tide and toxic algae, almost a science fiction type novel experience here in Sarasota. We got to do something differently. I'm so proud we're the environmentalists that are coming with a whole vision to do that.
Okay, but right now, let's take a quick break. We'll have more with Lieutenant Gubernatorial candidates Andrew Gillum's selection for Lieutenant Governor Chris King right after we get the final check on our first alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. My firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, hundreds of people with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them. We have local offices throughout the U.S. and there is no risk to you. Mesothelioma really is all we do.
Call us at 1-800-485-6000. That's 1-800-485-6000.
Or go to mesoonlylaw.com.
There are lots of people who are confused about which Medicare plan is right for them.
Hey, that's me. I barely know where to start.
Well, start here with me, Karen. I'm a licensed Humana sales agent.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Karen. I'm John Smith.
Hi, John. At Humana, we know you're unique, so you have different needs from other John Smiths.
Yeah, I've always thought so.
And together, we can find a plan that's right for you.
Great. I go to the doctor a couple of times a year, and I have some prescriptions, but I'm never fully sure of what's covered and what's not.
With Humana's all-in-one Medicare Advantage plans, you get coverage for hospital stays, doctor visits, and Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable and sometimes no monthly plan premium.
Do you have any more information?
Sure. I'll get a decision guide in the mail to you today. They're free.
Finally, someone who understands the real me.
Your health and happiness is important to us. Call or go online now to get your free decision guide. Call a licensed Humana sales agent today.
Be a Heart Walk hero. I'm Scott Dennis. Join ABC7 and the American Heart Association for the 2018 Suncoast Heart Walk. It's Saturday, November 10th at J.D. Hamill Park. Walk with us to help raise funds to fight heart disease and stroke. Your support will help us advance life-saving breakthroughs that will keep more hearts beating. We can't save lives without your help. Register for free and walk with us to have fun and help hearts. For more information, visit suncoastheartwalk.org.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
The world is a beautiful place again.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Find out first at 4 with ABC7 News at 4. Weekdays on ABC7.
Well, good evening, everyone. A bit of technical difficulties there, but we're going to get back to the weather here real quickly. Van Way's webcam showing some clouds and showers occasionally moving in to that camera, and that's associated with the cold front, which is moving through right now. Hasn't brought a lot of rainfall. We have a few showers still in progress, but most of the rain is over for the time being. We could see a few residual showers tomorrow. Not a washout, and it's just going to be a few if we see any at all as the secondary push of colder air moves on in. But the first front is through us, and that will cool us down and dry us out more so tomorrow. And then we'll look for another round of some cooler temperatures on Sunday. Some showers now down to the south near Sanibel, also some into central Manatee County right now. Not a lot of activity associated with the front because the atmosphere is too dry and the area of low pressure really scooted up to the north. These are lows Sunday. Get a look at these low temperatures. Nice, into the upper 50s in some places and low 60s. So if you have a real early tea time, it's going to be kind of chilly out there for Florida standards anyway. 57 in Sebring, 57 in Wauchula. As far as the winds go, winds out of the west, northwest, it looks like throughout the day. And we'll see that anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour. They'll become more northerly in time tomorrow night, and that will start to usher in that cooler air, and that'll be quite noticeable on Sunday. Well, the forecast tomorrow, we'll call for a mixture of sun and clouds throughout the day. It's not going to be totally sunny like it will be on Sunday, I do believe. And then high temperatures will be into the upper 70s. Our average high, 84 degrees, so it will be below average as far as the high temperatures go tomorrow. I mentioned that secondary front. You can see it coming down across north central Florida. And this is Saturday morning at 8:30. Now, we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds, I said, and then maybe one or two brief showers are possible in the afternoon as that secondary push of cold air slides on by. Temperature right now 79, and the winds are out of the west at 15. The pressure 2981 inches, and the high today 86, well above the average of 83. And our low this morning was a summer-like reading. In fact, even that's warmer than normal, 77 degrees. Now, satellite and radar imagery showing a lot of rainfall associated with the low pressure area moving through the mid-Atlantic coast states. Now, this is going to become a nor'easter, a pretty big one at that. And then there's the cold front. You can see it there. Secondary push of cooler air off into the southeast United States. Highs tomorrow will be in the 40s and 50s over the northeast and throughout the Great Lakes. Still warmer into South Texas, 82 in Dallas. Kansas City will be nice at 71. Okay, so for boaters tomorrow, northwest winds 15 knots in the morning, subsiding to 10 later on in the day. Seas 2 to 4 feet with a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now at 82 degrees, so that's going to cool down too over the next couple of nights. And as far as the forecast goes, Saturday, Sunday looks good. We'll start to warm up a little bit by Wednesday, 83 degrees, and looks like we're going to see basically a little bit warm conditions for the trick-or-treaters. We'll see partly cloudy skies, and looks like temperatures into the 80s at 10 o'clock. Alan?
Welcome back. We are joined again by the Democrats' nominee for Lieutenant Governor, Chris King. Chris, let me ask you, the debate earlier this week between Mayor Gillum and Congressman DeSantis, heated would be an understatement. I mean, they were, talking about everything that has come up in terms of what supporters have been saying during this this campaign. And this all comes into the context of what we've been dealing with this week with the pipe bombs that were mailed around the country, the arrest today of a Florida man, and renewed questions about, do we fundamentally have to change the way that our candidates and our elected officials are talking to each other and to us?
Well, I think civility is a huge issue, and what we saw today in terms of the arrest is just a further reminder that the way we talk to each other matters, because there are people out there that are listening and that often can do some pretty bad and evil things. And so, when we're looking ahead at this race, we believe that we are the candidates, that this is the ticket that has a vision, an inspirational vision. And I think if your viewers were watching the debate and watching Andrew Gillum over the last couple of weeks, they saw a candidate who is trying as he can to be positive and to bring issues to the table that matter for the people of Florida.
But if you did watch that debate, and Ron DeSantis could speak for himself. He talks about the FBI investigation, and he talks about socialism and so forth. But Mayor Gillum reminded those who were watching about the monkey it up comments and those people who have contributed to DeSantis's campaign. And isn't all of that part of the problem, that instead of talking about issues, they're talking about those things?
Well, Ron DeSantis doesn't want to talk about issues. Only this week did he release a health care plan just days before an election when people have already been voting. He's been running for governor for like 270 days. So the only way he wins, in his view, and we saw that in the debate, if he can be as nasty as possible, if he can attack Mayor Gillum as much as humanly possible and confuse people. And so he calls us things. Look, he's called us socialists. My background, I'm an entrepreneur. I started a small business, grew it from scratch all across the southeastern United States. Mayor Gillum leads one of the fastest growing economies in Florida, in Tallahassee, as the mayor. Socialism couldn't be farther from the truth. It's an insult, and we're not going to stand by for it.
All right, so make your final case to voters in Sarasota and Manatee County. You guys know what the voter breakdown around here is. This is a very red area, although the Democrats this year are highly motivated. But you have a lot of Trump voters here. And what would you say to them about why they should give you and Mayor Gillum a shot at this?
Well, Alan, I have been coming here since I was a little boy. This is one of my favorite areas in the state. I love Sarasota. I'm very familiar with Sarasota. And I think most people who live here recognize when it comes to our environment, which really is the economy in Florida, things are not working. Red tide and toxic algae blooms have decimated this economy over the past summer. It's affected small businesses and restaurants and hotels. We've heard about hotels that barely had any guests in the month of August here in Sarasota. We know we got to do it differently. We're the only candidates that believe in science, believe in appointing scientists to the water management boards in taking on the big polluters in the state of Florida that have owned Tallahassee, and in responding to climate change as the historic challenge of our times. We're the only ones talking about it, and we believe we're in a position to fix some of these big issues that impact the people of Sarasota.
You mentioned before the issue of a health care plan, and we have less than a minute left, but you and the mayor still would like to expand Medicaid in Florida. Obviously, Congressman DeSantis opposes that. People, are wary of it. What's the case for that?
Well, it's very simple. Our plan is we've got to expand Medicaid. This is good for the economy, would inject $6.6 billion into the Florida economy and cover 800,000 people. We've also got to protect people with pre-existing conditions. It's a life or death issue for these families. We also got to protect Medicare. So many people who live here in Sarasota County depend on Medicare, and we're going to protect it, and we got to bring the cost of prescription drugs down. Ron DeSantis is not talking about any of those things.
All right, Chris King, good luck on the campaign trail in the final week. We want to point out we did invite the DeSantis campaign to join us tonight as well. That is all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.